talk us through the business they've already done.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, slightly different being here with you, Matt, compared to being outside at Salford Quays to talk about this. But yeah, look, summer signings so far. We knew midfield was a priority this summer, and they've acted pretty quickly in terms of getting Andre Santos and Yuri Tillmans in for around 84, 85 million pounds altogether. Now, Cole Darlow, he's coming in on a free from Newcastle United because we're expecting Altay Bayındır, Radek Vitek to both leave the club this summer. Andre Onana went back out on loan to Turkey as well. So Cole Darlow will essentially be the number 2 going into the season. We have Tiernan Thompson here as well from Tottenham Hotspur, very highly rated young winger who will get first team exposure this season. Sébastien, I know you know him quite well, but he'll get first team exposure with, you know, if he impresses, he might get some opportunities on that left-hand side this season as well. But then the question is this enough? I mean, the midfield has been dealt with. There are suggestions as to whether they will go for another midfielder. I think they would like to, but it will be very much dependent on how the market develops. I don't think we'll see another 60, 70 million pound signing in the midfield. I think it'll be a lot lower than that. But I also think Manchester United will also look at left back. We reported last week that they have explored the conditions of a deal for Lewis Hall at Newcastle. He is someone we reported in March that they were very high on. And the reason being that Luke Shaw only has 12 months left on his contract. Patrick Dorgu is an interesting one because he's between being a left back and a left winger. And they only have Diogo Dalot, Nusar Mazraoui, who can play left back, but it's not their preferred position. They need a long-term solution at left back, and that could be Lewis Hall, but I think that's something that we might see develop over the next few weeks. OK,
well, let's talk specifically about what they've got so far, right? Yep. And I'm thinking about the midfielders here, because before the season, talk about Elliot Anderson, you know, a big money signing coming in as a midfielder. They were, you know, Adam Wharton, that kind of a signing. Baleba, big money midfield signings. In the end, they've gone with Santos and Yuri Tielemans. Do you think they've had a good window so far, Man United, or is it a bit, we haven't quite got the big signing that we wanted?
I don't think they were looking for the big signing per se. I think they were looking to fill some gaps, to bring some legs first and foremost, because that's what was lacking, I think, throughout the last couple of seasons. Andre Santos is a left-footed, so the same kind of profile of Baleba in terms of strong foot. Yuri Tielemans, for me, brings experience and the football IQ. So that's a big part, the football IQ, because the way he analyzes the game, I think it's a good combination between Santos, Yuri Tielemans, Tiernan Thompson. Is a youngsters. I think for me, he's some sort of a gamble. You don't have no pressure to put him in. He's not coming to change the team, to impact the team straight away. If he does, happy days. So far, I think they've been very careful in the way they were spending money, because according to the market right now, it's not extra money spent. Yeah. However, I think they still need some new addition in the midfield.
The only thing I just want to add very quickly is talk about a potential third midfield signing. Manchester United almost have one. They have a £55 million signing, actually, in Mason Mount, who we've seen play in that position at the end of last season. Michael Carrick has been playing him there again in pre-season. Yes, his injury record has been not great over the last 2 years, but I think that will be another option we see going into the season who could provide some cover in there.
OK, Dan illustrated it very nicely there as to what they still need, Sébastien. So if they're going to spend money on another midfielder and a left-back, who would be your sort of dream options, if you know, I mean, realistic options for Man United? Who could be that midfielder? Who could be the left back?
I would have gone as a midfielder. I would have gone for Bruno Guimaraes, because he brings that grit, that anger, that aggression, that passion.
They could the move if they've got the money, right? I mean,
if they got the money, right. And as a left back, Lewis Hall for me, as Dan mentioned, is the perfect candidate. Even like for Luke Shaw, a younger Luke Shaw with a little bit more drive, English player. It's going to be English business within English teams. So for me, he's the perfect candidate. And he's shown it last season. You know, even when he had this one-on-one with Lamine Yamal, I think that was the breaking point. Everybody actually went for him at this moment of time.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. You know, the Guimaraes link as well. I mean, I haven't heard any links between Man United and Guimaraes. Well, actually, you're obviously closer to it than I am.
I was going to say, it was very interesting, because in the spring, actually, I don't know if you remember, there were a lot of links between Bruno Guimaraes, a few of the other clubs around the Premier League, and Manchester United were one of them. But, you know, it was my understanding at the time that those reports were very wide of the mark. They very much admired Sandro Tonali, But you look at the price points for these players, Manchester United weren't in that ballpark. You look at Elliot Anderson, what he went for in the end. You know, we looked at Mateus Fernandes for Tottenham. Yeah. Again, someone Manchester United really liked. But actually, I would argue, you mentioned they needed bodies in. And for 84, 85 million, the same price, Fernandes went to Tottenham. They got 2 players there. Let's not forget, Tielemans has years of experience
like a good
in the Premier League.
For me, he's the...
He's won trophies at both clubs.
He won trophies and he's reliable. You don't really think about, oh, is he going to get it? Is he not going to get it? He's the one going to bring you a little bit more, so because he can see things a little bit quicker. The football IQ of Yuri Tielemans, honestly, is second to none. But actually, Manchester United, they need that. When I say aggression, hear me out. They need legs. They need somebody that's going to be able to allow the other flair player to play their game. You talk about the Mason Mount. He's not a natural grafter. Yeah. So you need somebody that's going to graft naturally, that's going to enable the others to play their game. That's what we call the complementary. I think at the moment, they have the same style of midfielder. Andre Santos, yeah, he's left-footed, he's got legs, but he's not that sitting midfield that's going to sweeper to allow the likes of Kobe Mainoo to be a little bit more creative and to do his things. Now, right now, the likes of Kobe Mainoo, they would have had to do a little bit more, a bit too much, instead of concentrating on their superpower and what they do well.
That's the aspect they're still replacing of Casemiro, essentially, is that those defensive abilities. But look, let's see what happens in the next few weeks.
What about Marcus Rashford? Could Marcus Rashford put on a Man United shirt again and be out there at the start of the season? Could it happen?
It's quite incredible. We've seen him in 2 different shirts since the last time we saw him in a Manchester United shirt, obviously for Aston Villa and now Barcelona. It was very interesting. Look, a lot of last season, I think his future seemed more likely away from Old Trafford going into this season. That has obviously changed. Barcelona didn't take up the option to sign him on a permanent basis. I think there were different reasons for that. I spent a few days with the Barcelona camp when they took on Birmingham over the weekend, but a few days before that. And I asked Hansi Flick himself why they didn't take up the option. And he even admitted he misses Rashford. The team he's sensing is missing Rashford. They all appreciate his free kick against Real Madrid, which all but secured the La Liga title. But essentially, they chose to go for Anthony Gordon instead from Newcastle. Now, Marcus Rashford is a great asset to Manchester United if they can get him back to the level he showed after the Qatar World Cup. We haven't seen that Marcus Rashford in Manchester United shirt for a long time, though. We saw him at the World Cup have glimpses, but I also think we saw aspects of his game that maybe previous managers haven't appreciated. You know, the defensive side of the game, which is maybe why Barcelona didn't end up pursuing him long term. As I understand it, he is more likely to be a Manchester United player after deadline day, and we can expect to see him in a Manchester United shirt very soon. I think him and Kobe Mainoo, expected to join the team the next week or two, should see him in Dublin when they take on Leeds next week. So it'll be very interesting. I also just wonder, just finally, I know I'm going on a little bit, if his future isn't at Old Trafford, I do wonder when the season starts, if there is a big team in the Premier League or Europe, results don't go their way, I think he would still provide a solution for a team like that.
What do you think is better for Marcus Rashford himself at this stage of his career? Is it to go back to Man United, or is it to turn over another new leaf and go somewhere else?
I reckon Marcus Rashford is better away from Man United. No, for the simple reason that he's from Man United, and I think unconsciously he kind of not relaxes a lot or too much, but he's too comfortable at Man United. He's from there. He's born there. He grew up there. So every time he went away, he had that impact. Marcus Rashford is a terrific, for me, player. Honestly, he's so talented. He can have impact. But unconsciously and subconsciously, Man United is home. And every time he went away from home, he had that kind of spark. He had that impact straight away. Now, the business of football is a bit difficult. Is he going to be able to get away again? The other team going to be taking a chance on him? I don't know. But at Man United, the only positive side that I see is Michael Carrick. With the way, I don't know, his aura, I think he's the type of manager, the type of man, not only the manager, a man that can really get into Marcus Rashford and have a one-on-one conversation, a more than one-on-one conversation, have a real work throughout the season to on the human side, get the best out of Marcus Rashford, help him transition that part. If he can do that, you'll have a superstar again, rising up back again.
Feels like we've talked about Marcus Rashford in the last 10 transfer windows. And I think we're going to again, aren't we? But it would be amazing, wouldn't it, to see him back in Man United.